Hello, my name is Vicki Palmer. 125 years ago, my great-grandfather, known as D.D. Palmer, discovered chiropractic. To commemorate Founders Day, there will be a celebration in Davenport, Iowa at Palmer College of Chiropractic. This momentous event of his first chiropractic adjustment is planned from September 17th through the 19th this year. You can get updates and planned activities at palmer.edu. Again, that's palmer.edu. All chiropractors and friends of chiropractic can join in. I look forward to seeing you in Davenport, Iowa at Palmer College, the fountainhead of chiropractic.
Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm so happy to spend the evening with you all to celebrate the commencement of a wonderful virtual week and month. This has been a wonderful event that I know that all of you have enjoyed from the comforts of your own home or office, and it's fun to be able to commune in a new way. So I just wanted to congratulate WDC on putting this on. I think that this is proof that we're on our way to doing something new and innovative and interacting with each other in new ways. And we bend and flex as well as we can, and we made it work. So congratulations to all of you all, and thank you to all the other speakers. I'm really honored to be with you tonight. I think we can all agree this has been a really unique year. It hasn't been normal. Life is not normal as we know it. And it's important to remember the basics during this time, because those are the things that really ground us. And my goal for this year is not just to survive, but to thrive. And I know that there are tools out there for me to be able to do that, and I just really want to focus on figuring out how I can access them, leverage them, and really grow in new ways that I haven't grown before. In keeping with this thought of the basics, a story comes to mind that I want to share with you. A very competitive young guy, tennis player, wanted to learn the American twist serve. He grew up in a small town and a pro was coming to visit. And he decided that he wanted to take a lesson. So he signed up and was able to get on the guy's schedule, and they're rallying back and forth. And the young guy said to him, "All right, let's get going. I really want to, get on track and figure out how I'm going to learn how to do this serve." And so he served him, and it was so fast, it ripped the racket right out of his hand. And the young guy thought, "Oh my gosh, I'll just move back a little bit." He said, "All right, come again. Let's serve again." Happened again. The racket fell right out of his hand. And the pro said, "Can you come up to the net? I want to talk to you." And he said to him, "I know you win a lot of tournaments because you told me you did. And I know that you're really good because you told me that you are. But would you mind if I see how you hold the racket?" And the guy said, I didn't pay you for this. I want to learn how to do the serve." And he said, "If you don't mind, the most important things to remember when you're trying to build a foundation are the basics. And I'd like to go over them with you before we get going with the serve." And at that point, the guy kind of said, "Okay, I get it." And I bring that up because I think it's important for all of us to remember that right now we need to focus on remembering the basics and the things that ground us in this time of uncertainty. We know that life is different right now, and how we deal with it is a reflection of whether or not we're going to be successful. And we need to prepare ourselves for what exists beyond this moment. How can we do that? We can prepare ourselves with education. We can commune like we are in events like this, virtual forums and taking webinars. I'm sure all of you have done all of these things because I have too. It's really the only way that I can sort of feel sane and have some semblance of normalcy in my life is to interact with people virtually, just like we're doing now. We also really need to remember to be positive. We get what we think about, and our minds are extremely powerful. And we don't want to get in the way of ourselves. So remember that, be positive. And I think the best things that we can do for ourselves is really doing exactly what we're doing now, which is building community. Community is absolutely, fundamentally, one of the most important things you can do in your life, other than staying positive and making sure you invest in yourself with education. Again, this is not about just survival at this point. This is about thriving. I know I'm going to survive. You know you're going to survive through this. But how do we thrive beyond this moment? Now, I want to talk a little bit about why community is important to me, and just a little bit about me. For the last 20 or so years, my professional life, I've worked in a lot of different environments. I've worked in healthcare in the international and domestic spaces, and I've worked with organizations like the World Bank, the United Nations, and various US government agencies. I've lived in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, New Zealand. In the 91 countries where I've worked, I have really gained a unique worldview. I've been able to spend time with a lot of different types of communities, women, men, and lots of different environments that have really changed the way that I see the world. And I'm very blessed by that, and I don't take that for granted in anything I do. I carry that with me every day. And, you know, I can speak to the common threads, I think, that of places that I have visited. Most of the time, my work centered around women entrepreneurs, much like all of you. These are women who are in mostly rural places, who work from their own homes. They don't have any other type of livelihood because they've either been not educated, they're not literate, they have no numeracy skills, or because culturally they're just not allowed to be very far from the home without a male, either their husband, brother, father. And so a lot of these workers work from home. They are craftsmen, they are weavers, they do ceramics and pottery, or they're farmers. A lot of the entrepreneurs all over the world are farmers, and most of the farmers in the world are women. So our food supply comes from these women, and we're so lucky that the women happen to be the ones cooking the food because they generally make the better food choices. So there's lots of focus on women entrepreneurs because women are the community builders. And stronger communities make stronger cities, stronger countries, and of course increases the GDP and makes it a better world for all of us. And these women, of course, had such a big impact on society that we wanted to give them the skills to be able to succeed in their own way. People do not survive in isolation. They don't. They certainly don't thrive in it. And that's another reason why it's so important that we all stick together and hold tight to this community that we've created in WDC. I was in India in November on a trip with the World Bank, my last trip before I left and joined Foot Levelers in January of this year. We traveled to the northernmost part of the country that actually bordered Bangladesh and Myanmar, which is very remote, very hard to get to, and not a lot of people go there. And we spoke to a group of weavers. At the end of the day, we were getting ready to go back to where we were staying, and we came across this woman who was kind of shuffling down the road, and she was missing most of her teeth, and she was carrying this large rucksack of firewood on her back. I think what's so impactful about this picture for me is just really understanding how much women sacrifice and what they do to build community and to make sure that their families are taken care of. The enduring strength of so many communities I've visited falls squarely on the woman. She's the caregiver, nurturer, homemaker, breadwinner, and steadfast support to her own family and to the others in her community. And I think as a mother myself, it's a powerful mix of inspiration and humility when I think about all of us who share this role, knowing the struggle of others is so much more. So this woman was coming back from the jungle collecting firewood when we visited her village, and she was going back to cook a meal for her great-grandchild. As you think about the image of this woman, on the other side of the world, where I live and I sort of feel like my life is right now, especially those moments where I am home and I really am self-quarantined and feel like I have my hand in so many things. My life is a lot more like this video clip that I'd like to show you now.
The question now is, how do people respond to their scandals?
For the wider region, I think one of your children has just walked in, but I mean, shifting sands in the region, do you think relations with the North may change?
It's unclear at the moment what effect former President Gun-hae's impeachment will have on the territories. Unfortunately, discontent in South Korea is not only related to President Gun-hae's administration.
Okay.
This is a major embarrassment for South Korea, who often criticises the North of corruption, and who now find themselves in the middle of a massive corruption case themselves.
Sorry, you do look rather busy there. We can reschedule
President
this.
Gun-hae is very likely to face jail time too.
Okay.
I would argue, in an attempt to make an example of her.
Right, so what does this all mean for the future of South Korea?
So the future of South Korea really hangs in the balance.
Oh my God, is that a bomb?
And it'll be
Goodness
interesting
me.
to see how the North reacts to this new shift in power.
Indeed. Well, this certainly has been... sorry,
I've looked everywhere. I've looked in the sock drawer.
your husband is...
I anticipate there'll be more to come from this region in the next few months.
Kate Wordsworth, you're obviously busy. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, let's find this sock then.
I think this video is hilarious, and I think it's so relevant to me, and I relate to it because I always feel like I'm doing 5 things at once. I want to tell you a story about overcoming obstacles and perseverance. A man enlisted in the Navy and got a bad vaccine and was paralyzed. He was in an iron lung for 6 months and prayed to die. And his mother had heard about chiropractic and took him to a chiropractor. He was carried into the office and he got a chiropractic adjustment and walked out. He experienced the chiropractic miracle. From that point on, he devoted his entire life to chiropractic. He went to chiropractic college, he got his degree, he opened up a clinic, and later on, after many years of practicing, was able to understand from his patients that unless their feet were fully supported, they didn't feel as good after they got an adjustment because it didn't hold as well. Necessity is the mother of invention, but out of necessity in this point in time, he decided to make an orthotic for his first patient. Her name was Sarah. He put together some materials in his garage, and from this was born the very first foot leveler. This man was my grandfather, Dr. Monty Greenewalt. The year was 1952. This was the year that Foot Levelers started, and Foot Levelers is the largest provider of custom-made orthotics in the world, based on the fact that my grandfather knew that there was something more he could do for someone. And that's something that I think we all need to remember right now, because we're in a time where there's so much opportunity around us, we have to look for it. We may not be paralyzed like he was. We may feel paralyzed by the virus, but we're not. We have to remember that there's so much out there that we can do, and especially things that this group, this WDC group and this community can offer us to better ourselves. There's so much wisdom. So many of us are in different phases of our life and can offer that kind of experience that's so valuable. Now is the time to really invest in yourself and in others. Just think about the fact that Michael Phelps is only approximately 2 seconds faster than the fastest high school swimmer in the country. That's not very much, but it's enough, and it makes him worth millions more. So if you think about that in terms of whatever you're working on, whatever goals you're trying to achieve, whatever things you're trying to improve in your life, if you can just be a little bit above average, it's worth millions. I hope you all have a great rest of your 2020 year. I really look forward to meeting you one day in person. And until then, remember, you're not only gonna survive this, you're gonna thrive, you're gonna be better for it, and we're gonna do that together. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.